Oh, hello everyone, it's me, Chris, and as you can see, I'm at another gaming convention. This is the Classic Game Fest at the Palmer Event Center in Austin. This is my second year going to it. I went last year and I'm only going for day one. This is typically a two-day tournament, two-day convention. Well, video game clearance, everything $1. What do we have here? We have PS2 Guitar Hero games, original Xbox and more PS2 stuff, all sorts of accessories and whatnot. See, just to take them, like Xbox 360 HD. Power cords. Here's our panel stage, where they host all sorts of crazy stuff and whatnot. And guest mentioned for the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, which I actually went to a couple of years ago. I'm not going this year though. Alright, more classic games. Here we have ColecoVision games and various even Coleco Adam cassettes. And of course we have Atari 2600 games. I actually have an Atari 2600 put away. I haven't touched it in at least 10, 15, maybe 20 years or something like that. It's been so long. And you also have 7800 games. I actually don't have a 7800 myself. And we have more Atari 2600 games. We have the television games. And even a television Model 2, which I actually have never seen in person before. I've seen it on videos, but never actually did it in never actually picked up one or at least touched one in person. So this is pretty nice. And of course you have the classic Model 1 with the hardwire controllers, and very weird. And here is the Commodore VIC 1211A, and you have Fairchild Channel F, and let's see, all sorts of classic controllers here. including the Atari Jaguar, the Turbo Touch 360 for... Alright, stepping into the arcade area, or hall number 2. This is actually brand new, I believe. So we have classic arcades to play. They're pretty much self-explanatory. And we actually have bands and stuff playing in the background. Pinballs, eat, drink, party, play. The Pinballs Arcade, which is around here in Austin. More arcade games. And even some pinball machines over there. And we have console games, including tournament signups. Including SNES's, Genesis, and classic NES consoles. And we're coming along this way, and we find Macintosh computers, old school style. Emacs. And then we have our more arcades. Okay, still in the arcade room, more classic consoles. Here we have SNES, the Sega Genesis Model 1 with the power base converter on top, and the Model 1 Sega CD on the bottom. And we have the Sega Genesis Model 2 with the Model 2 Sega CD on the side and the 32X on top. I never actually owned a Genesis or any of its accessories. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Super NES Super Scope, which, although I did have an SNES, I never got a Super Scope. We have the NES Miracle Piano. And here we have the Atari Jaguar with the Jaguar CD on top. Pretty nice. And our Panasonic 3DO, never owned it. And the Sega Saturn. And this is actually pretty crazy. We have the Texas Instruments Speak and Spell, which I do own. I don't know if it's still working or where it is at this point. And Grandstand Munchman, probably a Pac-Man electronic game. And what we have is the Neo Geo Pocket, and then you have the Game Boy. I have my original Game Boy and the Game Boy printer, which I actually don't own myself. And the Atari Lynx, don't own it. And the Game Gear, don't own it. And look, we have a couple of Tiger Electronic games, Simon's Quest and Sonic the Hedgehog, which I have played. I may still have them, I may not. I don't know if they probably are broken or something like that. I don't know. And coming over here, we have the various Game Boy Colors, which I do. I got the purple one at home. Gamecom, the Bandai WonderSwan, Game Boy Advance, which is the one Game Boy that I have never actually got, and the classic DS Lite, which I do own, by the way. These I don't own. PSP, I don't own an original Nintendo DS. And we have these electronic games, these particular games that I've never owned myself. And we have the Turbo Express. Now I have a TurboGrafx 16, but I never owned a Turbo Express. I was more of a Nintendo guy back in my childhood. I have boxes of the VIC-20, the Virtual Boy. You have our classic PlayStation. Yeah, it's like I have the Virtual Boy, never owned. Of course, I owned an N64, and I still have it, and it still works, but I don't know if I'll ever hook it up myself again. I do have my Dreamcast. However, I believe last time I checked, it doesn't work. Now we have the PS1. Again, this is the redesigned model. And this actually has the screen, I believe, a screen underneath it. It's actually attached. This is the original fat PS2. I actually owned the slimmer one, and I still own it, and I believe it still works. It is put away. We have the original Microsoft Xbox, as we now call it. It's, of course, the new Xbox is called the Xbox One. Classic old GameCube, which I do have. And as I noted, I have the slim PS2, but I have the black version, not the silver one. And coming over here, we have the Fairchild Channel F. As I said, I had an Atari 2600. This is the original model, although I have the wood grain finish, which is right here, with the 6 switches. This is the Atari Video Pinball, which I have never heard of myself. And we have Pong. And Atari, of course, made Pong consoles. This is one of them. And this is the Magnavox 200. Looks to be a Pong console, I guess. Now coming over here, we have the Magnavox Odyssey 2. The keyboard and 2 controllers. This is the second model, which the controllers are hardwired. Showing here in the picture, those silver controllers, that was probably the Model 1, and those were actually detachable, I believe, from what I have understood. And we have the Atari 400, which is a computer, home computer. And of course, good old Intellivision, which you probably saw at the beginning, not sure, and the IntelliVoice hooked in. The TI-99, never really heard of it. And you have the ColecoVision. Again, never owned. And the Atari 5200. This is the original model with the 4 controller inputs and the really stupid how to hook it up. Now moving along, we have the Famicom, the Nintendo Famicom. Yep. And you have the disk drive. Yeah. And this is where they actually must have modified it or installed a new controller in there. These controllers are built in, by the way, but you can actually replace them. And we have the Atari 800 XL, another Atari computer, and this is the Adam ColecoVision system. I've never heard of the Bentley CompuVision. And the Television Model 2. Good old NES. The original toaster model. And the original Zapper, which I actually do own. Never got robbed the robot though. This is the Power Pad.
They tried doing it in the 80s. Didn't work.
Here's the Sega Master System. And this is the Atari 2600 Junior. Looks a lot smaller than I thought it was. Maybe this is a different model? I don't know. And here we have the 7800. And good old TurboGrafx 16, which I actually own this model at home. It's put away somewhere. And the original Sega Genesis Model 1. As I noted before, I actually never owned a Genesis. And the Power Glove. Pretty nice. Alright, pretty much going to be heading out, and as you can see, I'm actually wearing my gaming historian shirt. I actually talked with Norman today, and he was like, yeah, nice shirt. Well, like, of course. But he's pretty cool. As I said, I was only going for day 1. For work reasons and other issues, I did not want to go to day 2, which would be on Sunday. And I really didn't get anything other than a t-shirt. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video.